St Clair Shores, what's happening? Derek Werenka here from Simply Home, and I'm back with your September 2025 real estate market update video for the city of St Clair Shores. Let's get into it. So it's been a busy month in the Shores. This is great. I'm really liking the numbers that we're seeing here. So right now, currently, there are 137 homes on the market in the city of St. Clair Shores compared to 88 that sold in the month of August. Now let's talk about the inventory level for just a second. That is almost exactly where we would want to be for this time of year. We could still see a little bit more inventory on the market, but I'm perfectly happy with 137 homes this time of year. That means there's lots of options out there for buyers. And it's just in general a nice, balanced, solid market. And that's kind of reflected out in all the rest of the metrics that we're about to talk about. So let's talk about them. So in August, the average sale price in the city of St. Clair Shores was $260,724. Now that was down just 1% versus the month of July, but that's up 2.4% over August of 2024, which itself was a pretty solid month. And homes that sold in August in St. Clair Shores this year sold for an average of 101.4% of asking price, and they sold in only 25 days on the market. And currently in St. Clair Shores, there's 1.9 months worth of inventory on the market. And all that means is that if from today forward, if nothing else new went on the market, in 2 months, we'd have every home on the market sold in the city. So let's take another kind of look, put some context to these numbers within the city of St. Clair Shores. So we've got a couple of developments that I think are gonna, at the end of the day, be very helpful and healthy for the market in the city. Number one being that the Fed has finally, for the first time since December, lowered their rate down 0.25%. And in turn, that had what we saw this happen before. The mortgage rates always get priced in before the Fed makes their decision. So we saw that happen like 2 weeks ago where rates started coming down, and then the Fed did lower their rates, and paradoxically it always happens. Then rates jumped back up a little bit, but they're starting to come back down again. So right now, like, we are in the low sixes, almost to the high fives. And in fact, my preferred lender partner is getting a lot of people approved and locked in the 5% range as well. And obviously that's on a case-by-case basis. That depends on credit score and income and cash reserves and all that stuff. But that being said, it wasn't probably more than like 6 months ago where our average rate was back up to about 7%. So we've been able to lower it over the course of the last several months. We're down almost a full percent, which is great because it allows more people into, it allows more buyers into the market because their buying power gets increased and they're able to afford the homes that they want, things like that, which is obviously what everybody wants. The other thing it does is it actually helps sellers out because now you have more buyers competing for more properties, and that actually can kind of, as long as you're doing what you need to do on the seller side to make your home as marketable as possible and as appealing to buyers as possible, you're probably going to be able to sell it for a higher price. And that's kind of like, borne out by the fact that the average home that sold in August in the Shores sold for over asking price. So out of the 88 homes that sold, that tells me, if you just, look at the raw numbers, that at least 44 of those homes, probably more than that, had multiple offers on them because, no buyer is just going to go in and offer 101.4% of the price. They're just going to give that seller the price if they like the home that much. It's not until you have multiple offers that spurs, over asking price offers. So that's what we're seeing. Now we're also seeing, we don't have that much. There's some of the cities that I track have almost 3 months worth of inventory on the market right now. St. Clair Shores is under 2. It's 1.9 months worth of inventory right now. So, that tells me that, I think what we're going to see, and we're kind of expecting the Fed to lower their rate 2 more times this year as well, which is going to happen pretty quickly because we're running out of year for them to do that. So hopefully the overall financial market is still in a place, a month or two from now where that allows them to do that, and that's a smart move because I would like to see that. I think everybody would because the lower rates get, obviously it just makes home buying more affordable for more people, but it also just keeps the market going, especially at a time of year like as we get into the late fall and the winter time. That's typically about the slowest time of year for real estate in the state of Michigan. And if we can make homes more affordable for more people, maybe in those kind of off months, you're going to have more opportunity to find a home that you like, because usually the inventory drops down quite a bit in the middle of winter, and there's just not as much to choose from. But what we're seeing the last couple years is that inventory has continued to increase all the way through November. So if this year is similar to that, then you're going to be able to find that right home for you in a month that maybe normally traditionally you wouldn't have been able to. So definitely not a bad thing. And the good news, like this is just about the best of both worlds for sellers and for buyers, because sellers, if you put some effort into your home, you're going to have it sold in less than a month for over asking price. And those typically, what I'm finding, are the homes that sell fast, and the ones that sell for over asking price are the ones where the seller puts a little more effort into making their home as appealing as possible. Like I always tell my sellers, my job, if I do it properly, is to make your life very inconvenient for a very short amount of time, because I'm going to get everybody in the world that wants to buy your house through that front door while we're on the market, and then within a week or two we got our deal and then we're done. So ideally that's the scenario that we like to play out. That doesn't always happen, but generally speaking, that's what we want. So, but it's great because for buyers, you're going to, that same home is that your payment's lower. Like it's just more affordable at 6% interest rate than it is at 6.25 or 6.5, things like that. So the higher it goes, that same house at the same price is just costing you more to live in. So if we can do anything to increase affordability by bringing down rates, that's phenomenal. And at the same time, on the seller side, if you can get over asking price for your home in under a month, you're doing great too. So that's exactly what we like to see. Now, if there's any other cities that I didn't touch on, or any other, anything at all that you'd like to know more about, you can always reach out to me anytime. You can call or text directly at 586-491-5622. My email is derecwerenka@simplyhome.com. I'm on all the socials. I respond quick. And until next month, thank you so much for watching these, guys. I really appreciate it. I'll be back next week with a new video, and we'll be back next month with another market update so you can keep track of the market in the shores. And until then, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of your week.